Now, an Egyptian woman has won a case against the country's military after she was forced to undergo a so-called virginity test. Samira Ibrahim says she went through the ordeal with 6 other women after they were arrested during protests in Tahrir Square in March. Activists gathered outside the court celebrated the ruling, which says the virginity test can't be used in military prisons. Al-Jazeera's Jamal Elshayyal spoke to Samira shortly after the ruling was passed.
I'm extremely happy because I've begun to secure my rights, and not only my rights, but also those of other women protesters, especially those who have been abused by the military.
Do you believe that the decision by the court today is enough to protect the rights of protesters, particularly women protesters who have been taken to the streets in Egypt over the past year?
Today's verdict is not enough to defend the rights of women who want to protest. Those who gave the orders and those who committed crimes must be tried.
My question then is, do you think that even though it is a small verdict, do you think that the soldiers on the ground and the military will actually adhere to this?
The verdict will have an effect on the SCAF because it's now shamed the Supreme Council in front of the entire world, as a council which literally strips female protesters. What's significant in this verdict is that it clearly states that virginity tests are illegal in all military prisons and detention centers.
What about the actual people on the streets? How are they going to deal with the people on the streets?
The Supreme Council is already going against public opinion, so I'm not sure what effect it will have on them or the military, because they already seem to be ignoring the people and their demands. But the court's verdict will definitely have an impact on public opinion.
Do you think that in future this verdict has encouraged you to return back to the streets and take part in protests? And also, what about the other girls of Egypt and other women who want to partake in protests?
This verdict has definitely encouraged me. My message to the women of Egypt is take to the streets and don't be afraid. We are in a state of revolution and anything can happen. As for the other girls who have experienced the same as me, I call on them to file lawsuits in order to shame and embarrass the security services, so things like this never happen again. The Egyptian people will always be victorious.